Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the Pandemic Push-Up channel. If this is your first time visiting, I'm Dr. Germ G, and this is a YouTube channel that I call the Pandemic Push-Up. It's based off of a blog of the same name, the Pandemic Push-Up, and it chronicles my journey with gradual weight loss during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm actually celebrating a few milestones this month, the month of May 2022. Some related to my weight loss journey, and others related to education and career. But I just wanted to quickly just touch on one important milestone that I am celebrating this month, and that is that I have come really close to reaching my weight loss goal. I'm actually 1 pound away from my weight loss goal, and my weight loss goal was 188 pounds. So this week I came in at 189, um, and I celebrated. I had I had an extra snack and some ice cream with my kids, and yeah, I believe in celebrating and enjoying the journey. But I've been on this weight loss journey since January of 2020. But things really took a turn during the start of the pandemic, which was March 2020. Well, that was when I would say the start of the lockdown. That's when things really took a turn for me. And and in my blog, I point to that moment of change because it was a convergence of the reality of being locked down with this life threatening disease floating around without any vaccine or understanding of what this was, what it could do, coupled with a sudden change in my career. I was a college professor at the time, but I was a non tenured professor, so I had to be renewed every year, and I had just learned that I would not be renewed. So the same week that I learned that I wouldn't be renewed, and that would be my last semester. We shifted online, and of course that created chaos for everyone. And but it also created some changes for my family and for a lot of other families. I'm raising a middle schooler, so as you can imagine, um, that had its own set of challenges with online learning and just adjusting to this new reality. That new reality. It's still somewhat of a new reality because I know people are ready to. People have decided that the pandemic is over, but it's not over. Anyway, um, yeah. So I had a convergence of factors that led to me making a decision to just try to earnestly take the necessary steps to lose some weight. At the time I was around 244 pounds. Actually, in the January of 2020, I was 244 pounds. I'd actually gotten down to around 229, 230, but I started going back up in March. Because typically that's what I've done. After a few weeks or months, you know, I would do what is common. You have a diet that gets you to lose weight quickly, and then after a few weeks or months, you get off of it and go back to normal. And so that was kind of happening. I was losing motivation and incentive, but then that 1 week in March 2020 it just turned my world upside down, and at some point shortly thereafter, I just made the decision to continue to try to see what would happen if I actually stuck to a weight loss plan. But what I will say is one key, for me anyway, for me, one key aspect of weight loss, gradual weight loss, is I think um, it's psychological. I think that you know how we prepare ourselves mentally, what we tell ourselves throughout such a process, I think is crucial. And what I mean by that is, I had, for years, I had been floating within around the 240, 250 range with the understanding that as I got older, as I aged, I would need to, to pull back a little bit and drop some weight. Um, but I also knew myself enough to admit that I didn't have the greatest habits or interest in terms of, exercise or nutrition. And so mentally, I began to come to terms with the fact that if I really wanted to do this, it would have to be something that would be within the realm of what I would be willing to do. And I came to a place mentally where I thought, okay, if I actually lost weight, I think I could do so on a gradual basis. Something that it would have to be something that would be sustainable, something that would not impinge on too much of my life. Something that I could sort of fit into who I was and what I was doing. Um, I didn't want to completely overhaul, my life to lose weight or to go on a diet. So I spent a lot of time rationalizing why I should lose weight, how I would lose weight, and the most effective ways that I could do it. I didn't have all the information, but I had a general idea. I saw myself gradually coming down, taking steps to gradually come down. And even then, it was hard to imagine actually, for instance, actually choosing more nutritious food options relative to what I was eating at the time or how much I was eating at the time. But lo and behold, once the pandemic hit, it was almost like an inflection point, and I just came to terms with the fact that if I'm going to do it, I have to really go all in and give it a try. And now the thing is, I already had this conversation that was going on in the back of my mind, but now, you know, the circumstances were such that I now had an opportunity. There are plenty of opportunities out there, but this one I could actually see, and it was staring me in the face, and I thought, okay, I think I'm going to take advantage of it. I saw myself losing weight, and I think I can do this, so let's try. And so over the course of um, the next, what is it now? Huh, 26 months? Yeah, yeah. This is May 2022. 26 months. I gradually dropped weight over time, and I went from at March 2020 I was 231, and now I'm down to 189. Well, fluctuating between 189 and 190 because of the ice cream, but still, I'm 1 to 2 pounds away from my goal, and basically I will be 188. I will hit my goal within the next week or two. Um, but here's the great part. The great part is that this is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. I mean, because there's so many things that one can do when it comes to nutrition and fitness. I just scratching the surface. I mean, there are so many elements to this. Whether it's different ways of attacking nutrition to how one maintains muscle or adds muscle. Yeah, I am in no rush. I'm in no hurry, and I can say that this approach works for me. I didn't give myself a hard deadline where I needed to lose 20, 30 pounds. No, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I took the gradual, smooth approach. I worked it into my, everyday life, career changes, family challenges, or great times with family. Um, all the different things that go into one's life. I just worked this in, and it's, as you might imagine, it produced an array of experiences. But I think the experiences themselves the, are what makes the journey. You know, um, so like this, for instance, this is the month where you have a lot of commencements at universities, right? Students that are finishing their educational journeys to receive their degrees, whether they be bachelor's degrees, master's, MBA, PhD. Like I have a PhD, and so yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful day to share with your loved ones and friends and colleagues. But I think that in some ways, the day itself is symbolic of the journey that got you to that point. Sure, it's a wonderful thing to get that degree, to get that recognition, to to well, actually, you don't really actually, in most cases anyway, you don't actually get the degree on graduation day. They mail you the degree, but you get that binder, or I'm sorry, I should know the terminology for the thing that holds the diploma, but I can't think of it right now. But anyway, the point is, you get this plaque. Is this plaque? Well, it's not a placard, but it's like a little binder where your degree would go. Should you choose to buy that placard, by the way, you don't get that. You get the degree, but you don't get anything else unless you pay for it. But anyway, still, it's symbolic of your achievement, of the fact that you've made it through however many semesters or years or months of working towards that goal of becoming credentialed, and everyone's path to that credential is unique and special, depending on and people are coming from all walks of life and circumstances in pursuit of that credential. But along the way, in my opinion anyway, along the way, there is this rich journey of ups and downs, highs and lows, and life lessons, cultural experiences, professional experiences, hardships that together make the journey something special. And so when it comes to, I take that same logic and apply it to my weight loss experience, the gradual weight loss. um, as much as it is about the result, I think it's also about the journey, the process of getting to that result. I think that for me, it's been an amazing journey of discovery, self discovery, realizing what I'm capable of when it comes to nutrition and weight loss and self discipline, and planning. It's great to know, because these are areas that when it comes to health and fitness, these are just areas that I just I never really. I mean, I had imagined that this would be possible, but not in the way that I'm experiencing it now. It's just it's it's been for me, it's been a realization that anything is possible. Anything is possible, if one is willing to use that determination and to find a way. Sometimes the resources are there, the support is there to go the linear path to what it is that you want to do, but oftentimes, there are roadblocks, right? There are things that can, impede our progress and force us to take these alternate routes or routes, depending on how you prefer the pronunciation. but basically alternate pathways to where we need to go or where we would like to go. Sometimes where we think we need to go, where we actually are supposed to go or meant to go are a little different. But ultimately, um, the journey is rich, and I can say that from my gradual weight loss experience, it's been enriching in so many ways. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share my perspective and experiences on this YouTube channel, but also my blog, thepandemicpushup.com, because, you know, at some point, I thought, and I wondered, there are probably millions of people out there with unique perspectives and aspirations when it comes to their health and fitness. And while I'm not a certified instructor or an authority in this subject, I do think that there is something of value in lived experiences. So that's what this is about. So I just wanted to touch base and say hello and just let you know that I'm still here. We're out here. And you can check out the pandemicpushup.com if you want to uh, look at some of the blog posts. But you can also listen in on Spotify and Anchor FM. Just put in the search for the Pandemic Pushup, and you'll find our podcast. All right. Thanks very much, and see you soon.